This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin FREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol, live here on this WrestleMania weekend. I got my Daniel Bryan shirt on. You know who I am rooting for in the main event. He wasn't even supposed to be there. He's probably going to lose. I'm assuming he was just put in the match to lose specifically. But still, I'm rooting for him. I go all out for events like WrestleMania. I'm going to be cooking up a storm this weekend, because that's the kind of shit I do. Unfortunately, tonight we're going to have to start off with some sad news. Yes. Just like at WrestleMania 30, Daniel Bryan will stand tall, having won the main event of WrestleMania. But unfortunately tonight we're going to have to talk about some sad news. A gigantic figure in the world. Someone who has had an impact all over countries. Someone whose name will be etched in history passed away earlier today. So we're going to discuss this man and the legacy that he is leaving behind. A lot of discussion about him and his legacy. Rapper DMX passed away at the age of 50. The rap icon was hospitalized after suffering an apparent drug overdose and subsequent heart attack on Friday, April the 2nd. DMX has died as a representative for the family, tells Pitchfork. The rapper was hospitalized, had a subsequent heart attack at his home in White Plains, New York. He was 50 years old. DMX's family issued the following statement via their press representative. We are deeply saddened to announce today that our loved one DMX, birth name of Earl Simmons, passed away at 50 years old at White Plains Hospital with his family by his side after being placed on life support for the past few days. Earl was a warrior who fought till the very end. X will not be giving anything to anyone anytime soon. You all thought I was going to be talking about Prince Philip, didn't you? That was the plan. We are actually going to discuss his legacy. First of all, I thought princes were the sons of the queen. I thought this motherfucker was Queen Elizabeth's. First, I do not give a shit about the royal family. If you have ever heard my take on anyone proclaiming to be royal, you will know that I can't say it on Twitter. I do it on stage. You got to buy a ticket to see me do stand-up once we're back to that. But I forgot where I was going. But apparently this motherfucker was not Queen Elizabeth's son, as I thought, because he's a prince, which, yes, ages and everything. I was really fucking confused on a lot of it, but I didn't care enough to actually look into it. No. Apparently this motherfucker was Queen Elizabeth's husband, and that he was some prince somewhere else. Take that flag down. What flag? I'm not exactly sure what flag you're talking about. Everyone keeps telling me to watch the... Are you talking about the right-wingers or morons flag behind me? That's my own design. I certainly won't be taking that down. You can get it on a t-shirt with the moron snake at the FREAKIN shop. Had you a little confused, eh? I'm sorry. Oh no, it's totally cool. It's totally cool. Do check out the freaking shop. Get you a Right Wingers or Morons t-shirt. If you subscribe to the Twitch channel, you get access to the Moron Snake emote. It's got a little dunce hat on it and everything. I'm really proud of that. But yeah, I didn't know that Philip, is that the one we're talking about? I don't even fucking know. Believe me, I will care more when we get to actual politics and shit. I do a good show, I promise. I was just bragging about the fact that people are more informed if they watch me than the equivalent time period on any cable news show. I promise you. No. I make fun of right-wingers. Here's the design that's on that flag. And I love making it. It's my kink, man. Don't kink shame me. Making fun of dumb fuck right-wingers. And we're going to do that tonight. I haven't previewed what we got coming up on the show. Of course, we're going to talk about Matt Gaetz. Updates in the Matt Gaetz saga. Gaetz Gate! Steve Scalise done a stupid video from the border. Done a stupid video. My southernness is coming out. Steve Scalise filmed a stupid video from the border. We're going to watch that. Alex Jones. We got video of Alex Jones. Did he rescue children? Apparently, he's claiming it's video of him rescuing migrant children. I doubt it. We've got a cop on video holding a lieutenant in the army at gunpoint. Of course, he was black. I didn't even have to say that, did I? We're going to talk about the right-wing takes on gun control, and then we're going to talk about the 5-year-old that died because another child was playing with a gun. And then so we got so much crazy crime news to talk about. A man was masturbating with an Elmo. Oh, and they found Jefferson Davis's chair. A group was holding a monument to Jefferson Davis, which was a chair, and they were threatening to cut a hole in it and shit in it. And I was really, really rooting them on, hoping they would shit in Jefferson Davis's goddamn chair. Or monument that was a chair, whatever the fuck it was. Stolen from Selma, apparently has been found. We'll talk about all that and more here live on the Troll Patrol. But first, Prince Philip was known for his energy and unfailing sense of duty, but perhaps what gained him most attention over the years were his unashamedly non-PC comments. That's what I wanted to know. That's why I went to this filthy rag known as the Daily Mail, so we could get the dirt on exactly what Prince Philip did. That is not how you tickle the Tickle Me Elmo. Oh, the Killer Clown trial. You gotta stick around for the Killer Clown story. The Duke realized his own capacity for making gaffes and even had a word for it. Dontopology? What? Oh, I hate this motherfucker so much. This he described as the science of opening your mouth and putting your foot in it, a science which I have practiced for a good many years. Some people inevitably, hey, even the shit that I'm on camera and audio saying that people would find questionable, because make no mistake about it, if I ever get big or some modicum of fame from doing this shit, some old videos are going to come back to haunt me, but I stand behind the sentiment. I often tell people, I'm on audio, dropping an N-bomb. And then I tell them what I said. They're like, well, yeah, you're kind of right about that. I know, right? I'm going to see if I can find that audio and put that up as a Patreon exclusive. Some people inevitably took offense at some of his more strident remarks, but most appreciated his wit, which saw him through countless official engagements. Many people who met Philip commented on his ability to set them at ease with an amusing comment. This helped jolt them out of the stuffy formality that sometimes characterized royal occasions. Okay, he admitted that he said regrettable shit. All right. You say he was an honorable guy, but I've seen so many people just fucking mocking the shit out of him today. I don't know. I don't know anything about him. That's why I wanted to read this article with you guys on the stream so I could educate myself on exactly who this motherfucker was. Now, this is the Daily Mail. It's a more tabloid-ish site, but it is the UK, and they usually have a lot of videos and shit, a lot of good pictures in their stories, even though it's got a lot of ads. Here are some of his most legendary gaffes over the years. State visit to China in 1986. And one of his most infamous outbursts, the Duke of Edinburgh advised youngsters in China during a state visit in 1986 that if you stay here much longer, you will be slitty-eyed. Oh, Jesus. In a BBC documentary to mark his 90th birthday, he remarked, "I'd forgotten about it. But for one particular reporter who overheard it, it wouldn't have come out." Oh, he regrets the fact that it come out. During a state visit to Australia in 2002, the prince asked an Aboriginal cultural park owner called William Brim, "Do you still throw spears at each other?" Mr. Brim replied, "No, we don't do that anymore." During a trip to Bromley in South London in 2012, Prince Philip spotted Hannah Jackson, 25, in the crowd during a trip to Bromley. The elderly royal turned to the policeman standing next to her and gestured toward her eye-catching peplum-style red dress. I don't think I said that right. I called it a rag, which had a zip running the length of its front, saying, "I would get arrested if I unzipped that dress." He was a perv. This was 2012. This was just a few years ago. He was a pervy old man. While visiting a London community center group in July 2015, Philip asked a group of women, "Who do you sponge off?" Miss Zamir, who founded the Chadwell Health Asian Women's Network, which meets at the center, said, "The Duke said to us, 'Who do you sponge off?' We're all married, so it's our husbands. He was just teasing, and it's similar to what I call my husband, the wallet." A Buckingham Palace guest in 2009 with a goatee, interesting detail to include, told Prince Philip he was a designer. Philip responded with, "Well, you didn't design your beard too well, did you?" It was later revealed that the guest was 38-year-old Stephen Judge, who said of the Duke, "I could see a twinkle in his eye." While being given a gift from a Kenyan woman during a state visit, he asked her, "You are a woman, aren't you?" This was 1984. During a Navy barrack visit in March of 2010, meeting with members of a Bangladeshi youth club in central London, the Duke of Edinburgh sat among them and cheerily inquired, "So who's on drugs here?" "I raise my hand, sir. It's me. It's me, sir." So Curiouser says this man was just a little affable. I guess this was more of his fun hot takes included in the Daily Mail. Was there something about him being a little racist as well? Or is that just a given with any British person involved in the royal family? All right, let's get to the actual news today, shall we? Representative Madison Cawthorn posted a video of his engagement. I really, really don't want to mock this. But I'm totally going to mock this, because if you know who Madison Cawthorn is, I don't know why we don't have sound here. So apparently that was video of him doing exercises or whatever. Now everything about this man's life has been a fucking lie. He's also a neo-Nazi. So I do not feel bad about mocking him. It is not his disability that I'm mocking. He's just a shitty fucking person. So I'm assuming that that entire video was staged. And that he didn't actually have to exercise in order to get down on one knee.
The rule of law has weathered many.
Now, speaking of slimy Congress people, who also just recently got engaged, Matt Gaetz had a very bad week. According to Vice, his very bad week just got even worse. The hits just keep coming for the future former Congressman Matt Gaetz. Gaetz was already having a bad week, and on Thursday, things got considerably worse. Federal prosecutors and a lawyer for Joel Greenberg, the former county tax collector and friend of Gaetz, who's been accused of sex trafficking, said during a brief Thursday hearing that Greenberg is likely to take a plea deal. Now, this is the clip. We talked about this. I actually read the quote last night, but we have the actual clip now.
Matt Gaetz, that is such a does he have
what happened today in court?
Does he have anything to worry about? And you're asking me to get into the mind of Matt Gaetz.
Now this is Greenberg, his associate, who it looks like is cooperating with federal prosecutors. This is his attorney asked about Matt Gaetz.
Right? And
Well, from your mind.
from my mind,
Based on what your client knows.
based on what my client knows, okay. See, I thought if I kept on talking and talking, that I would avoid these questions and not to say, I'm sure Matt Gaetz is not feeling very comfortable today, all right?
I'm sure Matt Gaetz is not feeling very comfortable today. In addition to previously reported allegations that Gaetz may have paid for sex with a girl who was 17 at the time, investigators are also looking into a trip to the Bahamas that Gaetz took with other Florida Republicans. The FBI has questioned witnesses about whether a group of women on the trip had been paid for sex and whether the trip attendees took drugs. Officials are also looking into an alleged conversation where Gaetz spoke with a Florida lobbyist about putting a ghost third-party candidate on the ballot in a state Senate race to help one of Gaetz's friends. This according to the New York Times. Gaetz has forcibly denied having or paying for sex with a minor, and Gaetz's own lawyer said the allegations were false. Also on Thursday, Gaetz's female staff released a statement signed as the Women of U.S. Congresswoman. Wait, that has to be wrong. That has to be a misprint. It says Congresswoman Matt Gaetz's office. Okay, the actual press release says Congressman. Vice is the one that got that wrong there. On every occasion, he has treated each and every one of us with respect, the statement says. Thus, we uniformly reject these allegations as false. No one from Gaetz's office actually signed their name to the statement. Why? Who put you in the basket? Nobody puts baby in the basket. Is that how the quote goes? So this is interesting that nobody actually signed. Are there even any women in Matt Gaetz's office? In our office and under Congressman Gaetz's leadership, women are not only respected, but have been encouraged time and time again to grow, achieve more, and unfortunately know our value. Many of us started in entry-level positions and have been promoted to positions of leadership within the office. In our professional ecosystem, women are given every opportunity to advance and utilize our talents to help the country in the best possible way. I know everything in the basket is cute. It was something special Twitch was doing for Easter. I put several things in baskets. I put producer Dave's door in a basket. But on Thursday, the Times reported that a second top Gates staffer, legislative director Devin Murphy, had quit amid the investigation into Gates. In a message to Vice News, Murphy confirmed he left Gates' office last week, adding it was not contentious. But it didn't get much better for Gates there. On Thursday night, the Daily Beast reported on transactions on the platform Venmo, where Gates sent Greenberg a total of $900, followed by Greenberg sending a total of $900 the next morning to 3 women. One of the Gates transactions was labeled Hit Up. A woman who had turned 18 less than 6 months before the transactions, according to the Daily Beast. The transactions were publicly available on Gates' page until this week. Gates' Venmo feed is now restricted and Greenberg's is no longer available. Oh my God, they had their Venmo feed right out in the open. These dumb motherfuckers. Right-wingers really are absolute fucking morons. Before the end of the night, the growing calls for Gates' resignation had become bipartisan, as Representative Adam Kinzinger, a House Republican who voted for the impeachment of former President Donald Trump, shared a link to the Daily Beast story on Twitter and added Matt Gaetz needs to resign. Gaetz has so far insisted that he won't resign. On Friday night, he's slated to speak at the Save America Summit. Oh my God, is that going on right now? If you guys will look into that, can you see if we can find a link? There is absolutely nothing wrong with paying for sex unless the girl is underage. Also, if you're a Republican congressman, and that makes you kind of a hypocrite. Also, topping the cherry on top of Matt Gaetz's rough week, House Ethics Panel opens investigation into Gaetz. The panel said it is aware of allegations that Gaetz may have engaged in sexual misconduct and or illicit drug use, shared inappropriate images or videos on the House floor, misused state identification records, that's a big one, converted campaign funds to personal use and or accepted a bribe, improper gratuity, or impermissible gift. Gaetz has denied allegations of being sexually involved with a 17-year-old, telling Axios in an interview last month that the investigation is rooted in an extortion effort against my family for $25 million. Why, I've never heard of any hypocritical Republicans. I wish these people could feel shame. The House panel also said it opened an investigation into Representative Tom Reed, a Republican from New York, who was also accused of sexual misconduct. Nicolette Davis, a former lobbyist, told the Washington Post in March that Reed unhooked her bra without her consent at a Minneapolis bar in 2017. Reed declined to comment to the Post at the time beyond issuing a statement that said, "This account of my actions is not accurate." He later apologized to his family and announced he won't seek re-election in 2022. So some looking like shitty news out of Alabama. We don't have a definite count, but it's looking like Amazon has defeated the union effort. There's word going around the internet. I don't know how plausible it is that they are going to be launching legal action against Amazon with the National Labor Relations Board. In a major win for Amazon, a majority of workers involved in an organizing effort at its distribution center in Bessemer, Alabama, has voted not to unionize. The vast majority of large tech companies have been composed of non-union workers, and tech companies, including Amazon, have fought hard to keep it that way. The no vote in Alabama could chill or delay other unionization efforts in the industry. The mail-in vote, conducted in March, was overseen by the National Labor Relations Board. Amazon had aggressively fought against the union effort, including sending text messages to individual workers' cell phones, urging them to vote against the move. The company also hired local police officers to work off-duty as security outside the warehouse. God damn, outsiders. Now, they spent $25 million to defeat this effort. Why would a multi-billion-dollar company spend $25 million to defeat a unionization effort? That's how much. If they're willing to spend $25 million, think about how much they are stealing from their workers in the value of their labor, for those who might be confused. Outsiders, including Senator Bernie Sanders, came to Alabama to show support for the workers' union push. Although the unionization would have only covered workers at the one Alabama distribution center, a yes vote could have encouraged Amazon workers elsewhere, as well as those that work at other tech companies, to pursue similar union efforts. I'm not so sure that it's not still going to have that effect. We'll see, especially coming out of the pandemic. Encouraging news from the Biden administration. But this is one of the things that he also promised on the campaign trail to kind of skirt the issue. So I'll put faith in the fact that he does it when, he actually does it. Biden creating a commission to study expanding the Supreme Court. The commission will also examine other potential changes, such as term limits for justices. Progressives are pushing President Biden to add seats to balance the court's conservative majority. Progressives are also pushing to get Justice Breyer to go ahead and retire, so that Biden can name his successor, while the Democrats for sure have the Senate. We've got another year and a half left, and some change. President Biden on Friday ordered a 180-day study of adding seats to the Supreme Court, making good on a campaign year promise to establish a bipartisan commission to examine the potentially explosive subjects of expanding the court or setting term limits for justices. Now, right-wingers, that would be something I would go for first. Term limits. Because you should be able to get... I'm not saying don't go for putting extra justices on the court. Now, do the term limits thing first, because right-wingers, they have been losing their minds talking about term limits. So, go for it. It should be an easy sell to the voters, to the Republican voters. But you will watch Republican politicians do an about-face. Republicans be hypocrites? Why? I never. The president acted under pressure from activists pushing for more seats to alter the ideological balance of the court. After President Donald J. Trump appointed 3 justices, including one to a seat that Republicans had blocked by his predecessor, Barack Obama. The result is a court with a stronger conservative tilt, now 6-3, after the addition of Mr. Trump's choices, including Justice Amy Coney Barrett. Now, obviously, one of the big topics that the Supreme Court is going to be dealing with in the next couple of years is the topic of guns.
President Biden defending his new executive action aimed at curbing gun violence.
Nothing
I like this dude. How'd he get on Fox News?
in any way impinges on the Second Amendment. They're phony arguments suggesting that these are Second Amendment rights at stake.
But commissioners in Weber County are saying not so fast. They're fighting back, declaring a county a Second Amendment sanctuary. Joining me to discuss is Weber County Sheriff Ryan Arbin. Let's get into this, Sheriff. What exactly this executive action does. First of all, it stops build-outs of ghost guns, requires a pistol stabilizing braces, mandates red flags legislation for states. And
None of this sounds unreasonable now, does it?
More. What is your quick reaction to what this?
Let's see what Mr. Potato Head has to say.
Well, what we see what this does, the Second Amendment resolution to be a sanctuary county is it just gives the confidence to our residents and citizens of Weber County that we support their right to carry. We support the right to carry arms whenever this is what they have to do. This is their freedom. We are holding these basic fundamental rights to make sure that they have the right to carry firearms.
So, Sheriff, I got to ask you, what does this actually do, making this a sanctuary state? Is this saying that, look, we're not going to prosecute or we're not going to enforce the president's executive action because it's not even a law?
Yeah, this is a declaration, basically.
It's just a show. It's just a PR stunt that lets this motherfucker get on TV and run his cocksucker.
There tends to be a nervousness, if you will, amongst people. Their guns are going to be taken away. And I remember when I became a police officer, I swore to the oath to defend the Constitution. So you have a lot of residents that hear other elected officials feel that when they swear the oath,
First two words, well regulated.
Rights, they don't honor that, and they don't honor their oath. And so there's this desire, if you will, this grasp that they want people to feel that they are reassured that we are not going to take their guns away, or in my case, as an elected sheriff of Weber County, that I'm going to protect those rights for them. And we're going to assure them. That was the declaration that the county commissioners.
Aw, silly goose. You and your rancid farts.
Support this resolution.
Yeah, what is your reaction to, a lot of folks are saying, just around the country.
Don't forget to give us a like and share us out.
Black ownership is up when it comes to guns. A lot of folks.
Hell yeah, arm the poor, you fucking bastards.
That they feel like they have to protect themselves with crime going up.
They do. I mean, it would be nice to have lots of law enforcement officers out there on every corner to help protect, but the fact is
no, it wouldn't.
Can't always be there in a split second.
There's a problem. We're getting ready to get into that.
In larger cities and even in my county, people feel like
boy, do I have some video to show you about how cops are not going to help alleviate any kind of problem. They add to problems.
And they have that right to do that.
I want to get your response to this because Colion Noor was on Fox yesterday and he had this to say.
You know, I just glossed right over the whole kitchen toilet thing. I didn't even notice that. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, silly goose, please elaborate on kitchen toilet. Inquiring minds want to fucking know. Is that just your sink, or do you actually have a lavatory in your kitchen? Tucker Carlson makes me gassy too.
Groups behind the scenes. Like, there is an out-and-out gun control lobby that no one ever wants to talk about. They talk about all of the pro-gun lobbies, but they never talk about the anti-gun lobby.
What gun? The gun control lobby is just regular citizens like me bitching into a microphone and saying, hey, dumb fucks, it doesn't make any sense what you're doing. A turlet. Okay, he could be in like an RV or something. And like, kitchen toilet right there. I bet it's handy. Do you know how many times I've been like cooking up a burger on the stove and I've been like, shit, I want to take a piss right now. And I have to walk all the way from my kitchen, which is over there, into the bedroom in there. Yeah, what's the placement of this kitchen toilet? Next to the stove? I guess technically I could have a kitchen toilet if I took one of the cat's litter boxes and rolled them into the kitchen. I could have my own kitchen toilet. All right.
That's pushing this. And then they sell you this idea that we're here to keep you safe. But you're not here to keep us safe. Somebody kicks in my door in the middle of the night. You're not.
Yes! Yeah, gun control is absolutely about. Dude, Fox News. Ever since Trump lost, I don't know what is up with them. Have you seen their news feed on Facebook? Like, it's just the most, like, let's go check that out right now. You guys have got to see this shit. We're on Fox News. Good. Like, it's just pictures with the most asinine quotes on it. That's one of the things that they, see, here's one. Here's Mitch McConnell. When Democrats lose a floor vote, it's time to change Senate rules. When they lose a presidential election, it's time. At least this has some substance to it. Other ones are just like nonsense. See, like this Tucker Carlson quote. I should have grabbed some examples. My apologies. Get some backbone, get some compassion, come down to the border and see what a mess you've made. What the fuck is up with this shit? This is not a news network. They're just like, they're trying to make these prepackaged memes to get shared out. One, to promote Fox News, and then two, to keep their message alive. It's insane.
Do anything about it. I'm going to have to do something about that, along with the rest of Americans in this country. We are our first responders. But what does that do? That facilitates the idea and the notion of independence, self-reliance. But you can't have that when you want to expand the powers of the government. No. We have to make you dependent on us.
What? He works for the fucking government.
You have to depend on us to protect it.
Sheriff, we appreciate.
Oh, wait a minute. That wasn't the sheriff. My bad.
Enforcement officer around the country. But, you know, there's only so many of you. And at night, when we have to protect our families, we need something that's going to equalize.
Don't worry about the border. Alex Jones is on the case. He's there to make the rescue. We're going to watch video here in just a little bit.
There's a lot of truth to what was just said. I mean, people have that right to protect themselves. When those break-ins occur, we could be minutes away. We could be 10, 15, 20 minutes away. And those.
Are you saying you're shit at your job? Yes, I keep saying cops are useless.
Especially when somebody else may not be able to. That's their basic fundamental right according to the Constitution.
Sheriff, we thank you for standing up for the people of Utah in this country.
I thank you for admitting you're fucking useless on national television. You guys want to find out what Tucker Carlson has to say about the gun issue?
Tonight, we often accuse politicians of dishonesty on this show, but there are grades of it. Let's boil it down. Nothing the Democratic Party advocates.
Good evening, Greg Creed.
Than gun control. Everything about that one specific issue is false. Most policy debates actually aren't.
Tucker must have been watching earlier and saw the Chiron and realized gun control is just political.
Honest about it on the show. No matter how passionate you are about a position that you have, you can still sort of see what the other side.
You're correct, Tones.
You might, for example, deeply dislike taxes, but you can still acknowledge it is fair to charge people for the services they receive from the government. So the other side isn't crazy, they just arrived at a different number than you did. Or you can hate abortion, and we do, and you can still understand if
you need better heroes.
Totally honest about it, why a scared pregnant teenager might be tempted to have one. But gun control is not like that. Gun control is.
What was it that Fox argued in court that no reasonable person would believe Tucker Carlson? Someone find the quote for me. And but then again, that's why you're a silly goose, isn't it? Because you have heroes that no reasonable person would take seriously.
Is entirely fraudulent. The Democratic Party claims that guns cause violence. That's the core claim, and it is a lie. It is provably untrue.
No, Tucker just strawmanned. No Democrat is claiming that guns cause violence. Guns exacerbate violence.
In this country that have the most guns and the loosest controls on those guns also have the least gun violence, the fewest killings. That's the bottom line. You could look it up. It's publicly available to anyone. Anyone who tries to restrict your legally owned firearms is not trying to make America safer. The point is to disarm you, to strip you of your autonomy, your power, your right of self-defense. Gun control is not about guns.
Arm the poor.
It's about who controls America. Is it the population, as in a democracy? Or does all control go to a small group of authoritarians, as in an oligarchy?
Persuasively argues that given Mr. Carlson's reputation, any reasonable viewer arrives with an appropriate amount of skepticism about the statement he makes. As well, any reasonable person would, but we live in a country of... We live in a country where there's a whole section of not very reasonable people.
Those are the stakes in the gun control debate. It's not about guns, it's about who runs the country. So with that in mind, Joe Biden's speech today calling for more gun control should make you uncomfortable. Almost nothing Biden said was true. We could go down the list, but here are a few highlights.
Bloviating is the word of the day. I need a Pee Wee Herman. Ding, 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 ding. Bloviating for his audience. The conclusion remains the same. The statements are not actionable.
To give you the flavor. Biden claimed that
allow me to translate that legalese. Tucker Carlson is full of shit.
Purchased at gun shows are exempt from background checks. That's a lie, as anyone who's ever been to a gun show can tell you. Joe Biden claimed that gun manufacturers have total immunity.
Here's the gun show.
That's also a lie. Gun manufacturers get sued all the time. Ask them, etc. So it was a speech aimed to mislead rather than to inform. Before he announced how he plans to restrict your Second Amendment rights, Joe Biden wanted to remind you that those rights are not real in the first place. They are not, as he put it, absolute.
They're not.
Nothing I'm about to recommend in any way impinges on the Second Amendment.
It doesn't.
Phony arguments suggesting that these are Second Amendment rights at stake for what we're talking about. But no amendment to the Constitution is absolute.
You heard the sirens in the background responding to the skyrocketing crime rate in the city he presides over. But the right to keep and bear
He doesn't actually preside over that
in the U.S. Constitution, but according to Joe Biden,
which I mean, if I pointed out all the factual inaccuracies in Tucker's statements
that right
tonight,
is subject to his approval and his interpretation. Joe Biden is in charge of the Constitution now.
Joe Biden
defines its terms.
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden has decided that something called stabilizing braces can no longer be allowed. Now, a stabilizing brace is used by target shooters to hold heavy.
But it's a good emotive argument to say that siren in the background.
The murder epidemic now underway in our cities. Then why is Joe Biden
Nice. Carry on, Tuggy.
Braces used by target shooters to hold heavy firearms. They play zero role in the murder epidemic now underway in our cities. Then why is Joe Biden banning them without the approval of Congress? Probably because up to 40 million law-abiding Americans own this device. And under this order, Joe Biden's order, every one of those people will have to alert federal authorities and pay hundreds of dollars in fines for the crime of owning a harmless piece of plastic that was legal yesterday. And if they don't comply, Joe Biden's federal authorities can then drag them off in handcuffs, seize their property, and charge them with a felony. So with a single stroke of a pen, Joe Biden just turned tens of millions of overwhelmingly Republican voters into criminals.
Good.
Think about that for a minute, and you'll begin to understand why the Democratic Party is so
like seriously, this shit shouldn't be legal.
Of war. You might know them as
This is just absolute propaganda.
sporting rifles.
It should not be legal.
And target shooting and
Watching the QAnon documentary and seeing Frank or whatever, Philip Frederick, whatever the fuck the handicapped dude that started 4chan, where he was like so adamant about being a believer in free speech and everything, and then he becomes the mod and runs it for a few years like, no, you can't give people free speech. That's a bad thing. Sounds like that's what he's arguing, and he's probably right on that one. And it's not legislation; it's an executive action. But it's just like he's also there's grandfather clauses for people that already own these things, so it's not criminalizing anybody. Tucker is lying right there, out the gate. But like once again, breaking down all of the misinformation in this whole thing. It's impossible.
Home defense. Here's the thing that you should know, and again, don't take our word for it, look it up. No subject is more carefully cataloged than gun violence.
That's not true at all.
War play no meaningful role in crime. Virtually gun murders.
The FBI didn't even start keeping statistics on that shit until just a few years ago. The Republicans have blocked repeatedly the CDC's attempts to do studies on gun violence. He is full of shit. God. We're never going to make it through this.
In this country are committed with handguns. A small number of people, again, provable.
No, that's true.
A small number of people are responsible for most of the violence, and they use a small variety of weapons to commit it. Those weapons are not rifles. Here are the numbers. According to the most recent
something like that.
FBI, firearms were involved in a total of 10,250.
I think it changed during the at the ass end of the Obama administration.
500 out of more than 10,000 of those homicides.
Look at one of the memes we're circulating.
Rifles of all kinds, including so-called weapons of war. So criminals don't use rifles. They're not concealable. Maybe that's why. In fact, more
mass shooters do, and that's one of the things we're trying to cut down on because we seem to have a hell of a lot more of those than any other fucking country. Tucker.
People were murdered with knives than with rifles. So if you actually cared about making the country safer, keeping people from getting murdered, you would target handguns in big cities. That's where the murders are. That's where the violence is. But the Biden administration is doing the opposite of this, the mirror image of this. The Biden administration is letting big city criminals go. People who use guns for violence are walking out of jail. And instead, the Biden administration is using, and you saw it today, the full force of government to disarm peaceful voters in zip codes that voted for Donald Trump. It is that simple. Today, Biden announced that he wants to ban what he calls assault weapons.
What do you think his mission was there? I was caught up on the fuck, what did he just say? That the handguns in cities. I was stuck on that. What admission do you think he made? Interesting, yeah. That he would think that handguns don't allow people to defend themselves.
Speaking about the AR-15, which is the single most popular sporting rifle in America. So the question is, if
this is Tucker Carlson.
Assault weapons, would the country become?
I'm Justin Freakin.
That's the only question that matters. And we don't.
This is Troll Patrol.
We tried this before. Under Bill Clinton, for 10 full years, we banned assault rifles, and then by law, the Department of Justice studied the effects. So we know the effect, and you again can look it up if you want. It didn't work. In fact,
oh, it did actually. Ah, fuck. I thought I had it handy.
In almost every major city. So policies like this one are unhinged from reality, to put it gently.
If we're talking about mass shootings, it did indeed work. Hey, you know what I'm gonna hit you guys with now, alright? If you didn't see it, it's a tragic fucking story. 5-year-old child accidentally shot, killed by another child after finding a gun at home. Oklahoma City Police. Fuck. This is according to Oklahoma City Police. There's a lot of
3-year-old
ads on here.
This afternoon in Oklahoma City has died. Police tell us the child was shot in the torso inside a home near Northeast 30th and MLK. We're told at this point it is an accidental shooting. We do not know whether that child shot themselves or if someone shot them. Police say the child was rushed to a hospital in critical condition, but died from the injuries.
Statements by some of the witnesses lead us to believe that this might have been an accidental where a gun was found inside the house and they were playing with the gun.
Responsible gun owners.
Told that there was more than one child in the home at the time. Police have not said if any adults were present.
Now, I would think charges need to be brought against the adults. And not to discount their loss and shit. Like, I'm sure they are grief-stricken. But also, god damn it, like people don't treat guns with respect in this country, and it pisses me off. So, interesting news from the Biden administration. That's not it. Ah, fuck, I copied the wrong. Biden southern border czar to step down just months into the job. The southern border coordinator, Roberta Jacobson. Shit, I fucked that up. Southern border coordinator Robert Jacobson's last day in the Biden White House will be at the end of April before she retires, she announced on Friday. The former ambassador to Mexico has been at the forefront of the administration's efforts to handle the surge of migrants at the border, which shows no sign of stopping. Jacobson has appeared at the White House podium to explain the situation at the southern border and the administration's efforts to manage it. Just more than 2 weeks ago, she and other top administration officials met with Mexican officials to address ways to stem the flow of migration to the U.S.-Mexico border. But, I mean, if you really want to stem the flow of migration, you just send somebody as ugly as Steve Scalise down to the border, and I think that'll stem it.
As we're here at the McAllen facility, you just saw a large number of kids just come running across the border. Here they are right here, just came in to the country illegally, ran across, just got apprehended by Border Patrol agents. And it's going on all around us. We've been seeing this. We've only been here less than an hour, and we've already seen multiple encounters of people coming across.
You notice we keep getting these videos from the border, press conferences from the border. There was another press conference today from the border.
Processing facility, and they're coming into America because
Congress people just rotating in and out, going down there doing these press conferences.
This is out of control.
Now this is political theater if I've ever seen it. Right-wing idiots. But apparently,
story happening on Wall Street. I love this one.
Apparently, all you had to do was send Alex Jones down to the border, and he's gonna fix it all. Alex Jones stopped smugglers from kidnapping migrant children, ? Video shows him jumping in front of a car. Let's scroll down here and get the full video.
You're about to run a human being over. Hey,
You got
who are
those
you?
children in there. You got those smuggled children illegally. Hey, we need the police over here. They got a bunch of kids without their car seats.
Here come the kids.
Oh, this is Alex taped video. This is fake as fuck.
Honduras, Guatemala, you name it, right? Now keep in mind,
once they go into this facility, the Border Patrol completely washes their hands of them. If they test negative, they're marched right down the street to the Catholic Charity. From there, they're given clothes, food, financial assistance.
Good. $1,200
per person on them.
Are you telling me that a church is actually doing what a church is supposed to do?
The United States to a destination city of their choice.
You got a car seat for them? You got a car seat? That's illegal, bro. Where are you taking these kids? That's illegal.
If you get in a traffic accident, those
Where
kids
are
are
you
going to get
taking
hurt.
these kids? You have a car seat.
That's illegal.
How is this Christian?
Hey, we need the police over here. They got a bunch of kids without their car seats. You're violating Texas law.
Who is this right here?
Hey,
you have no comment.
Yeah, who is this dude?
You're about to run a human being over. Hey,
you got those children in there.
Who are you?
You got those smuggled children illegally.
Who are you? Where are you taking these
You're
children?
smuggling children.
Are you a part of
You
this
got to be legally in that vehicle.
You're not a part of this organization? Who are you?
Hero Alex Jones over here.
Where are you taking these
in
kids?
the back of there without children
Where are you
seats.
taking these kids? Sir, identify.
This is
who
the
you
massive
are.
smuggling.
This is literally human smuggling. These are children. Where are you taking these kids?
And now,
I'm assuming it looks like some agency or something.
Sir,
their seatbelts
their seatbelts aren't even on.
They
Where are
break
you
all
taking
laws.
these children? Sir, identify yourself. Who are you?
Don't fucking hit me. I'll tell you right fucking
Who do you work for? Are you a part of this organization?
So
you don't know where these kids are going? No, they came from over there. They're not being checked for COVID. So you don't know who you work for?
Call the police.
We need to call the police right now. I want to know where.
Please do. I assume they would arrest Alex Jones.
Sir, identify yourself. Who are you?
Kids out of that back, man. If somebody rear ends you, those kids are going to get hurt.
Who are these kids?
I don't know, sir.
Lag them down right there. Get the cops.
Or this is somebody that Alex is paying. I don't know.
Where's the church? Okay, so we just want to make sure that this is all good, okay, sir? I understand you're probably trying to help, at least appearing to, but you literally have a bunch of kids in here, a bunch of minors, all by yourself.
Okay, the police is here. Okay. Kids plowed in the back, no seatbelt, no anything. Yeah, they're plowed in the back.
Okay. What's your name, sir? Do you have your ID on you? Or your driver's license?
Your human smuggling's going to stop, freak.
So you're cool.
Human smuggling.
These kids are being human trafficked on a daily basis.
They're just like yelling that the kids are being human trafficked. It looked like their mom or some shit was in the back with them.
They're being human trafficked. You're being human smuggled. How do you know? How do you know? How do I know? It's happening on a daily basis at the southern border. You're doing that? How do you know? Go to the southern border.
That's the mom?
Mother, yeah.
Yeah, all sorts of fucked up. These people do not care at all. Good. Good.
Hold on, mom. Toma foto.
Yes, we do.
How many more?
Hey, dude, get this video
Yes, there's a big difference. But if he's just taking them across the street or some shit to that church.
If I drove around with 3 of my kids in the back of the car, I'd get arrested.
Alex Jones just said, like, if my kids were in the back of the car like that, I'd be arrested.
This is ridiculous.
I think he had a big old bowl of chili before he did this.
Stuff them in the back of a car. What the hell's the matter with you? No car seats. What organization is this? I want to know who the hell this is. Stuffing kids in the back of a car without any seatbelts on. What kind of Catholic organization is this? Jesus stuffs people in the back of a car? Should be ashamed of yourselves. Every single one of you.
He's Alex Jones. What is it?
Vitamin mineral fusion is a remarkable.
Of course, we've got some fucking ad at the end of it. Can I stop it? Okay. A viral video showing Alex Jones, founder of InfoWars, aborting an alleged kidnapping attempt of migrant children by jumping in front of the car has generated a lot of buzz on the social media. While several users believe the video to be authentic, several others claimed it to be staged. The video comes 2 days after U.S. Supreme Court turned down his appeal for a hearing in the defamation lawsuit filed against Jones. The lawsuit filed by some of the relatives of the 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting victims in Newtown, Connecticut. Jones had claimed that the shooting was a hoax. According to InfoWars, children were being taken from the dirt floor child camp under the International Bridge in McAllen to a processing camp in Donna, Texas. The migrants were then moved to a COVID processing center in downtown McAllen before being brought to Catholic Charities of the Rio Grande Valley. The video gained momentum after the clips were shared on microblogging sites. And a lot of people standing this and saying Alex Jones deserves praise. There are several others who raised doubts over the claims being made by Jones in the video and about it being staged. No surprise, so many believe that Alex Jones stopped smugglers carrying kids. Most likely the same who were fleeced by Trump's WinRed donation scam and who are still being scammed by the NRCC. Ah, yes, because everyone knows child smuggling involves people in broad daylight, loading kids into a minivan in the middle of the city. Alex Jones walking up to random people in the street and screaming in their face that they're actually smugglers doesn't make it so. So we don't actually have any indication. They went from who are these kids to human trafficking to not wearing your seatbelts. And you call yourself Catholics. Thoughts and prayers for Alex Jones. You know who we don't have thoughts and prayers for? Adam Waffen. But it looks like that's not going to be a group very much longer. The Adam Waffen division leader pleads guilty to terror-related crimes. The neo-Nazi terror group is basically over, and its leader is facing a lengthy prison sentence. Cameron Shea, 24, described by the Department of Justice as the leader of Adam Waffen, pleaded guilty yesterday to federal hate crime and conspiracy charges. They stemmed from a campaign in which he personally ordered a show of force involving members of the neo-Nazi terror group to place posters on the homes of journalists and activists across the country. Last year, 5 members of the group were rounded up by the FBI after printed threats were sent to the homes of journalists and activists in Florida, Arizona, and Washington state. Shea himself sent an Anti-Defamation League official that, according to a DOJ release. It depicted a Grim Reaper-like figure wearing a skeleton mask, holding a Molotov cocktail outside a residence, with the text, "Our patience has its limits. You have been visited by your local Nazis." Shea, who is set to be sentenced in June of this year, faces a possible 15-year prison term for his crimes. Content warning, we do have video that people might consider disturbing. We've got a cop holding a lieutenant with the Army at gunpoint, it would seem. See, do we have audio? It might take it a second to kick in.
Procedure 23.
Ooh.
Operation CVS.
There we go. I thought they took those out of the cop cars or disabled it where they couldn't use them while they were driving like that.
Speeds are 18. Vehicles changing lanes. approaching Church Street intersection.
Because they should have to be in park in order to operate those computers. And you're exactly right. I do not trust cops at all. I've been around enough of them in my life.
Felony traffic stop. Put your hands out the window. Felony traffic stop, 1830.
It already sounds like another cop is escalating.
How many occupants? All units 1013, 804, 803, felony stop. 18 Windsor, 1 East Windsor.
You would have to input it in somehow. I don't know, like, would they have a camera on the front of the car that captures the license plate? And they're like, nah, they don't have that kind of technology. Maybe like NYPD or some of the bigger departments might have something like that.
How many occupants are in your vehicle? Open the door slowly and step.
So yeah, they've got guns trained on this motherfucker. Like, we don't even know why.
Get out the car. Open the door slowly and get out.
Get out of the car now!
Open the door. Get out the car.
And what's amazing to me is one time, me and my friends got pulled over, pissed drunk in the middle of the night. My buddy had on his military uniform. They treated him like he was goddamn royalty.
Now! Get out of the car!
But he was white. Apparently, military uniforms don't help you any when you're a black man.
Get out of the car now! What's going on? You're fixing to ride the lightning, son.
You're fixing to ride the lightning, son.
Get out of the car now! Get out of the car!
You can see the batches on his jacket.
Work with us and we'll talk to you. Get out the car.
You received an order. Obey it.
I'm honestly afraid to get out. Can I?
Yeah.
He is scared to death. I don't blame him.
Get out the car.
Get out now.
I have not committed any crime.
You're being stopped for a traffic violation. You're not cooperating at this point right now. You're under arrest for. You're being detained. Okay. You're being detained for obstruction of justice.
Traffic violation. I do not have to get out the vehicle. You haven't even told me why I'm being stopped.
Really?
Get
out of the car now. Get out of the car.
Get your hands off me.
Get out of the car.
Get your hands off me.
You know what?
Get your hands off me.
Not a problem.
Hands off me.
Back up, Daniel.
I didn't do anything. Don't do that.
Sir, get out of the car now.
Hey, sir.
Get out of the car now.
Sir, look. I'm trying to talk
Get out.
to you. Okay. I'm trying to talk.
Get out.
Just get out of my car. Can you please relax?
Get out.
Please relax.
Get out of the car right now. Now.
This is not how you treat a vet. I'm actively serving this country, and this is how you're going to treat me.
Back up, Daniel.
I didn't do anything.
Back up.
Whoa, hold on.
Daniel.
What's going? Hold on.
Pull out the fucking taser on him. Oh no, it's the pepper spray.
Get out of the car.
Remember, this is America. You have to have a reason to do something like this.
Sir, just get out of the car. I'm trying to breathe.
Get out of the car now.
Fucked up. You guys really fucked up.
Yeah, get out of the car and get on the ground now. You're gonna get it again.
I don't even want to reach my seatbelt.
Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car. Get out of the car now.
I hope he sues the fucking shit out of that police department.
Listen.
Unfortunately, it's the taxpayers that have to put up with that shit.
Look, I'm just gonna please.
The city will settle.
Get out of the car. Take your seatbelt off and get out of the. Take your seatbelt off.
And the cop is even coughing from his own goddamn pepper spray.
Don't reach in there, Daniel. Don't reach in there.
My hands are out, please. Please, look. This is really messed up. My dog is in the back.
It is really messed up.
Get out of the car. Take your seatbelt off. What are you, a specialist, corporal? What are you?
I'm a lieutenant.
Lieutenant, get out of the car. Take your seatbelt.
He's a lieutenant.
You made this.
Goddamn.
You just complied. Get out of the car.
I'm reaching for my seatbelt.
Fine. Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car. Straight onto the ground. Straight onto the ground.
Ma'am. Is your commanding officer available?
Down. Let's go.
Is your commanding
Let's
officer
go.
available?
Yes, do ask for the supervisor.
Get on the ground or you're getting sprayed again. Get on the ground.
Can you please talk to me about what's
Get on the ground. Get on the ground now.
Can you please talk to me about what's going on? Can you please talk to me about what's going on? Can you please talk to me?
Wow.
Why am I being treated like this?
Because you're not cooperating. Get on the ground.
Why am I being treated like this? This really
Every fucking night, I prove why we need to defund the police.
fucked up. Fucked up. This is fucked up. This is fucked up.
So that's where it ends on YouTube. By the end of the incident, the cops would threaten Nazario, pepper spray him in the face, and knee strike him in the legs, according to body camera footage, Nazario's cell phone video, and legal filings. Later, when Nazario was in tears and on the ground of a gas station parking lot, as officers put him in handcuffs, he repeated, "This is fucked up. This is fucked up." Okay, so Karen Nazario was driving his newly purchased Chevy Tahoe home when two police officers pulled him over in Windsor, Virginia. So Nazario is a black and Latino man. They ordered him to get out of the SUV. So he looked in the mirror and saw he was being held at gunpoint. That's when he placed his cell phone on the dashboard. This was in December of last year. The incident ostensibly began after an officer believed Nazario was driving on U.S. Route 460 without a rear license plate, according to a lawsuit. So he had dealer tags. It was a newly purchased vehicle. He had the fucking tag up in the window. While the SUV was new to Nazario, meaning he hadn't gotten permanent plates yet, he still had a temporary plate taped to the inside of his rear window, the lawsuit notes. The temporary tags are visible in the body camera footage. Nazario slowed down his vehicle within seconds of the police pursuing him and activated his turn signal. Because it was dark, Nazario also drove for less than a mile below the posted speed limit until he reached a well-lit BP gas station. The courts have ruled that is totally okay. In all, it took about 1 minute and 40 seconds for Nazario to pull over after Crocker initiated the stop, according to the lawsuit. Still, the cops claimed in a report that Nazario was eluding police, had a dark window tint, and lacked plates. So officers treated the incident as a felony traffic stop. One of the officers admitted later that they knew why Nazario had pulled into the BP. It happened all the time, and was a maneuver often used by people of color, according to the lawsuit. Once he was in the BP parking lot, Nazario was ordered to put his hands out of the car window and turn the vehicle off, according to body camera footage. Gutierrez attempted to remove Nazario from the car with an arm bar, but failed, according to the lawsuit. The officer pepper sprayed Nazario in the face and continued to order him out of the SUV. Oh my God, the pepper spray caused Nazario's dog, which was in a crate in the back of the vehicle, to start choking, according to the lawsuit. After Nazario got out of the vehicle, he was allegedly hit with knee strikes to the legs. Officers continued to strike him after he was on the ground and in tears. Once Nazario was in handcuffs, the officers pulled him up and began to interrogate him. Medics also responded to provide assistance. Meanwhile, Crocker searched Nazario's SUV without permission or authority to locate a firearm that Nazario said he had, according to the lawsuit. Crocker radioed the serial number back to dispatch to see if the firearm was stolen. While interrogating Nazario, Gutierrez said that the problem was that Nazario hadn't exited the vehicle, according to the lawsuit. Nazario was told that he could leave without charges if he would chill and let this go, according to the lawsuit, or he could be charged, have to go to court, and face the consequences in his military career. The body camera footage adds to the many documented aggressive police traffic stops of non-white people that have drawn attention in recent years. Honestly, thank God it was in a crate. Fucking cops. Lucky for us in Kentucky, legislators have finally done something right. As Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, Steve was his dad, my apologies. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear signs a bill limiting no-knock warrants. The law comes more than a year after the police killing of Breonna Taylor in a botched raid, while the law doesn't go as far as protesters and some state lawmakers hoped. Many said it represents a step in the right direction and will save lives, but I mean, come on. The cops that executed the no-knock warrant that killed Breonna Taylor said they announced themselves anyway. I'm going to guess it won't tarnish his military career, because if anybody watches the fucking video, you can see he wasn't in the wrong. I hope it tarnishes the cops' careers. My God. All right, guys, this one's a crazy one. I just recently replayed Grand Theft Auto 5, and in Grand Theft Auto 5, Trevor has this teddy bear, and he keeps masturbating with the teddy bear. And he keeps coming in the teddy bear. I guess something like that was what was going on with this home inspector, who was allegedly caught on camera pleasuring himself with a doll, looks like a Tickle Me Elmo, during an inspection. At least he was wearing a mask. Gotta protect people, right? Happened in Pontiac, Michigan. A Clarkston man who was unwittingly recorded during a home inspection allegedly pleasuring himself with an Elmo doll was arraigned today on 2 misdemeanor counts. Kevin Wayne Van Leuven, 59, was arraigned on charges of aggravated indecent exposure and malicious destruction of property under $200. Aggravated indecent exposure carries up to 2 years in prison. As a condition of bond, Van Leuven is not to be alone in any residential property he does not own, and is not to have contact with victims, and is to have a mental health evaluation. Just when I think I have seen it all, someone steps up and surprises me with a new level of disturbing actions. Sheriff Michael Bouchard said, "I'm sure the sheriff has done his own level of disturbing actions." I don't think Elmo was very tickled about that encounter. Damn. We cannot always presume that employers have done their job and have confidence their employers are trustworthy, like the fucking government hiring the sheriff probably, and are there to do the job for which they've been hired. This is a disgusting reminder to be cautious about who you let into your home. The actions of these homeowners will likely prevent this defendant from going into anyone else's homes. Van Leuven was arrested without incident by a member of the Sheriff's Office Fugitive Apprehension Team. The couple told detectives that they let Van Leuven and the buyer's real estate agent into the home and left during the inspection. A nursery camera alerted the phone of the 22-year-old female homeowner that there was movement in the nursery. She checked her phone and allegedly saw Van Leuven in the nursery. As she continued to watch, he allegedly began touching himself, and she began recording the incident. Van Leuven then picked up the doll from the nursery floor and appeared to be pleasuring himself with the doll. Not to kink shame or anything. He then returned it to its original location. Did he come in the doll? Deputies were summoned to the home. During questioning, Van Leuven said he moved the doll to inspect an electrical outlet, but did nothing else. When told there was a camera in the nursery, Van Leuven allegedly made incriminating statements and apologized. Wow. By the way, we're going to finish up tonight with some wholesome content that everyone's going to love. I guarantee it. U.S. Olympic athlete. This isn't it. This is not the wholesome content at all. So, content warning.
You're scared. Do
I'm
something.
scared.
I'm not fucking scared of you.
I haven't done anything.
I'm not fucking scared.
This is an Olympic karate competitor for the United States being harassed by a racist ass motherfucker.
Yeah, you're a loser. Loser, go home. Stupid bitch. You're little.
I'm little.
Leave me alone. You're lame. I'll fuck you up. I'll fuck your husband up or your boyfriend or whoever the fuck you're talking to on the phone. Get away from me.
Oh, it's a female.
All right? Don't be looking at me behind my back.
Okay. Yes.
And it's not that it was a karate athlete being a female that shocked me. It's that a fat motherfucker would be yelling at a woman like that. That's why I thought it was a male. You know, if you're going to be a racist asshole, at least take it up with a dude. Fat fuck.
Huh? Dude, just go back.
Dude, stay away from me.
I haven't done
This is an Olympic athlete.
What did I do?
To whoever that is, to Chinese. You guys see me?
So crazy. Sakura Kukamau. Sakura Kukamau. I bet that was close. Was minding her own business while training in a park when she was accosted by a stranger in the latest disturbing example of anti-Asian sentiment in America. The U.S. Olympic karate athlete says she was at the park in Orange, California last week when the angry man began yelling at her out of nowhere, so she recorded it. The man made several threats and hurled insults at Sakura before finally getting in his car to leave, but not before she says she heard him drop some racial slurs as well. Sakura says towards the end of the rant, a woman finally did ask if she was okay. The Olympic athlete says she decided to share her experience as a reminder this is happening all over the country and we need to take better care of each other. He looks like a badass. He also told reporters, I was aware about the anti-Asian hate that was going on. You see it almost every day on the news, but I didn't think it would happen to me at a park I usually go to train. So, wow. I wish he had of. God, you know she could have took him. Crazy story coming out of Texas. Apparently, a man attempted to blow up the internet. Probably wasn't a fan of this show, if I had to guess. Texas man tried to blow up the internet. Federal investigators allege that he wanted to use C4 to blow up around 70% of the internet. FBI agents in Texas have arrested Seth Aaron Penley for an alleged plot to blow up the Amazon data center in Virginia with the goal of taking down the internet. Mr. Penley allegedly told the undercover he planned to attack web servers that he believed provided services to the FBI, the CIA, and other federal agencies. He said he hoped to bring down the oligarchy currently in power in the United States. I'm kind of on his side. Shit. According to the Department of Justice, federal authorities learned of Penley's plot after one of his friends warned them. Penley was allegedly active on mymilitia.com, a website where extremists gather to socialize and plot, where feds say he boasted about his plans. Okay, maybe he's not as cool as I thought he was. In another post, Dionysus said, I'm not a dumbass suicide bomber. The DOJ said that investigators quickly figured out that Dionysus was Penley and began to search his social media feeds. In private messages, he allegedly told friends that although he did not actually enter the Capitol building, he did reach the platform, where he swiped a piece of glass from the broken window and interacted with police. I'm not sure. Have they? Let's find out. You might be saying not as a broadcaster, but as a commenter, right? I doubt he's live now. According to the DOJ, Penley began talking over his plans with an FBI informant via Signal in late January. If a court finds Penley guilty, he could face up to 20 years in federal prison. God damn. Do you remember the other night when I did a story about a monument to Jefferson Davis that had went missing, that a group had taken it hostage?
New developments tonight in the missing Jefferson Davis stone chair from a Selma cemetery. That chair has now been found more than 300 miles away. Here's Brian Henry in Dallas County with the latest.
The chair is coming back home.
We started receiving tips of the possible location.
The case broke open 2 days ago. Dallas County Sheriff Mike Grantham's team received the initial call.
We even had some cell phone communications after we started collaborating with them a little bit.
County investigators immediately alerted Selma police, and before long, New Orleans police became a major part of the investigation.
And after looking at video footage, they were
So they found it in New Orleans?
Two suspects.
New Orleans police found the stone chair weighing hundreds of pounds at a tattoo parlor Thursday morning. 2 people faced 1 count each of receiving stolen property. Investigators aren't releasing their names for now, but the male is 32 years old, the owner of the tattoo shop, and the second suspect is a 24-year-old female.
At this point, I really can't tell you what I make of it.
It's not known yet whether the 2 actually stole the chair from Old Live Oak Cemetery in Selma.
We can develop enough probable cause to determine who exactly took the chair out of Selma. They will be arrested.
Meantime, high praise by the national chapter of the United Daughters of the Confederacy. The organization publicly thanked New Orleans police.
The UDC was who they were threatening. They wanted the UDC because it doesn't look like the news organization is actually going to go into the story. They were threatening the UDC, wanting them to put a banner out in front of their headquarters. Hopefully in the story we'll get to see what the, I can't remember exactly what it said.
For their work in resolving the case.
Hopefully we'll get to see
The
it.
Confederate group says the chair is now back in Selma and will be returned to its original spot. For now, it is being kept at an undisclosed location. Still unclear is whether the 2 people are connected to the so-called White Lives Matter group that's claimed responsibility. Part of this ongoing investigation is to determine whether White Lives Matter is even legitimate.
I mean, that part will be in.
Not white lives. White lies matter.
Looked at.
What is real is the Jefferson Davis chair is back in Selma, not damaged, and is now the seat of another wild story from the graveyard. And Selma, Brian Henry, WSFA 12 News.
The United Daughters of the Confederacy says that ornate chair is worth $500,000. It was placed in.
It ain't worth shit. Now, they were threatening to actually shit in the chair. They were going to turn it into a toilet if the UDC did not meet their demands. They demanded it would be returned only if the National United Daughters of the Confederacy, headquartered in Richmond, Virginia, would hang a banner on its building on Friday, the anniversary of the Confederacy's surrender in the Civil War more than 150 years ago. That's right, I forgot to mention that. Lee surrendered to Grant more than 150 years ago. God, this story didn't say what it was, what they wanted the banner to say. I was hoping they were going to do it. All right, wholesome content to end the show. I promised. This might be the absolute most wholesome video I have ever played on this show. We're going to get some pussy here. That's a baby kitten drinking milk. That was a shelter. Rescued a kitten. Had some milk donated to it. The Little Victories Animal Rescue Shelter in West Virginia. I saw that video and I had to play it because I'm a sucker for little kittens. Let's do one. All right, if you're on Twitch, I'm going to send you guys over to Dirtbag. Enjoy WrestleMania weekend. We will be back on Monday. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin Freakin. See you Monday night on the Troll Patrol. Live.